Wonderful. So, guys, earlier this year in June, you put up the album covers. So, can you tell me a bit about the songwriting and production behind this album?
So I think it's kind of the bigger container the whole thing is sitting within is sort of the theme of loss and like leaving behind what's not working anymore, choosing yourself. We all had a lot of big life transitions going on, and that kind of echoed in the album, I think. And somebody else can speak to this too, but we had it kind of ready to go and ended up throwing out about half of it because the songs weren't that one half of that of the songs weren't quite authentic enough because we had all changed and grown so much. Those songs didn't really fit. They didn't they just weren't authentic enough. They didn't quite fit who we were anymore. So it took a while to get that album out because of that, and the pandemic and everything else. So
yeah, I was gonna say, I think also jumping off of what Sandy said, we had a bunch of songs that we thought were going to be on this album and were written and ready to start recording, and part of like she said, there was a lot of life change that happened for everybody. Part of that was kind of shifting from a space of feeling like we were making music for other people that would be types of music or forms of music that people would find more appealing, or writing for a specific group of people, and then kind of coming back full circle to, I think, why we all started making music in the first place, of just making music for ourselves and not really caring what anybody else thought about what we were making. I know there's still part of us that cares to some extent, but I think we've kind of all shifted to like, we're just going to make the music that we want to make. And maybe tiny little bit, but now we're in a space of just like, we're just going to make the music we want to make. And if nobody likes it, who cares? Because we like it.
Wonderful. And was there any particular concept that was put behind this album?
Burning everything down, death, and rebirth. Basically, that's the main concept of the entire album.
Sandy, you're muted.
Hey, you're muted, Sandy.
You're muted, Sandy.
Thank you. Can't you hear my hands? I think it's like the life cycle that's present in everything and everywhere. I think it's got a lot of that. Like that's a theme for it.
Gotcha. Wonderful. And recently the news came out that you guys are back to the studio for your next album. So how things are working out for you right now?
They're good.
They're going slow.
Yeah. No, I was gonna say they're good. We have a new single actually that we're nearing completion on. We have to have it finished by Friday, so in order for it to come out in time. So the pressure's on, which is good because usually we don't get anything done if we don't have deadlines. But yeah,
yourself.
it's
Doesn't speak for yourself.
I am. Yeah. But yeah, we have, how many songs do we have? Like 11 or 12, something like that, songs in progress.
Yeah.
In various stages. But yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful. And how is gonna sound like? How do you get this new album come back to covers? Do you have any news on that?
I think it's heavier across the board.
Yeah, I think there's like I'd said this before. There is we've been told like the Cowards is a pretty cohesive album. Like it just sounds like us all the way through. But like it's really easy for us to pick out like, hey, that's a song that was written 5 years ago, and this was a song that was written a couple of years ago. Or even more recently, like the single that comes out in hopefully in January, I think, right? Am I wrong on that?
It will hit radio somewhere around the second week of January.
Okay. but yeah, it's really exciting seeing how we evolve in the songwriting process, and how we've gone from, I think Lost at Sea is the oldest song we have, all the way to what comes out in January, and that evolution. So I'm really excited for it. I think the new stuff is a little bit heavier, but also really leaning into a horror movie vibe, which I love. So
Wonderful.
Well, there'll be a lot more screaming in this one, I think. I've been taking lessons, so I'm ready.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. And talking about the music, like you guys come up with almost everything, like come up with electronic, pop rock, you have industrial influences, almost everything into it. So how did this idea arise, and how do you thought of putting it all together into one band?
That's yours, Drew.
I think I'll let you answer, Drew. I think one of the things that makes it possible to bring all of that in is that we've very deliberately fostered a place for everyone to show up with their full selves, whatever that is they're bringing, whether it's pop or industrial or, you know, all of those punk, all of the things that are coursing through our veins. We've very intentionally made space to craft things together that lets each person kind of bring who they are and what they have to say. Okay, go Drew, sorry.
That's okay. Yeah, I was going to also say, you know, I was talking with Chris Santos last night, and he had made a comment about, and other Chris has also said this, and I know that this is just kind of where we're all at, but like, there's not a lot of ego in the band. I mean, of course, everybody has a little bit of ego. It's part of who we are as people, but as far as like ideas or, you know, we should try this or we should try that. I feel like we're all pretty open to trying things and just seeing if it works. And if it does, if there's something about it that we like, then cool, it stays. Or if it doesn't, you know, at the end of the day, I think for all of us, the song is the most important thing. And if that means there's no guitar parts because that's what the song needs, then that's what we're going to do. You know, we usually find ways to work guitars in because it's part of who we are also. But I think we don't have a lot of, you know, preconceived ideas of what it has to be. And part of that is because we've worked our asses off to have a space where we can make music on our own and know how to do it without having anybody else telling us how it needs to be. So we have a lot of freedom to like, let's put these things together that, you know, people don't normally put together.
And to kind of echo all that, like Sandy and Drew and all of us, like we've known each other for a long time, so it's like a really big family atmosphere. So just to kind of echo what Sandy was saying in terms of creating space, like there's space is created for all of us to kind of just throw ideas. I mean, there's times where I'm doing a bass track down and it's like, hey, I want to try this, and then like, sure, let's see what it sounds like, and then it just sounds awful, and it's like, okay, let's go back to what we had before. But we're able to do those things. We're able to experiment, and like, I mean, there's moments where it's like, you know, there's no bass in like a verse part, but the synth bass and all that stuff sounds great. And it's like, yeah, I mean, it's perfect. Like, let's do it. Let's go that way. And it's because that's what the song needs. So it's been really fun kind of creating all of this stuff. And I'm really excited for the next one.
Wonderful, wonderful. And how is the touring plans going on for you guys? Are you currently on tour, or are you planning to tour early next year?
Yes, we are actually working with booking right now to get some things lined out for next year. So we've got a couple of dates, you know, here and there. I think there's one more date in December, and then maybe a couple in January. But then looking at some more shows in the next year, and then hopefully the plan right now too is touring in the U.S. but also going to Europe. Next year as well. So it sounds like it's going to be busy, and I'm already tired. Just thinking about all the stuff we have to do, but very excited and grateful to get to do it. I know, yeah, there'll be dates coming up. I know I'll just leave it at that because I don't know for sure, but yeah, we'll be playing hopefully a lot.
Wonderful, wonderful. And can you tell me how you guys all got together and formed Cedars?
That's a long story. Like Santos said, we've known each other for a really, really long time. I've known Chris since we were kids. We grew up on the same street in Texas. And I think about 7 or 8 years ago, maybe Drew and Sandy called me, or another mutual bass player was like, hey, they're looking for a guitar player. And so I went and met, I remember meeting with Sandy and that other bass player at a really shitty Chinese restaurant in New Braunfels. And she was like, yeah, we need a guitar player for this thing. And I said, yeah, sure, let's do it against, I don't know. Yeah, I just said, yes, let's do it. And then I joined up with them. And then that other bass player went off and did his thing, and they were like, hey, we need a bass player. So I called Santos. I'd known, Santos and I had been playing in bands for since we were teenagers, like shitty bands. So I called Santos and we started with the Cedars family formed. That happened about what, 5, 6 years ago, Santos? When you came on 4, 5, 6 years ago? He's frozen.
I think I want to say it's been at least 6 years because
Okay.
yeah, because Jude's birth is always
Good call.
Yeah.
And then Caleb came in. You have no clue how hard it is to find a drummer. And then so we met Caleb through another mutual guy in Dallas, and Caleb was like, yeah, let's do, I guess Caleb's having fun. I'm hoping he's having fun.
I basically filled in one time and then just never left.
Yeah, there you go.
We sort of just absorb people into our atmosphere. When they get too close, we just like, oh, and just drag them in.
Amazing, amazing. And would you like to share some of the great moments you guys had over the years?
We don't have any fun times together. It's all miserable. No, I'm kidding. I mean, for me, like one of the biggest moments this past year that we had together was we were making a video for Formerly Known, and all of our ideas are very extravagant and big, and a lot of the times it's like there's no way we can make that happen. Well, long story short, we needed a particular aesthetic for the video, so we ended up finding the desert, a small little piece in Texas that just seems to just be a diamond in the rough. Looks like a desert, and so it's 8 hours away from home because Texas is so large, it takes forever to get around. So basically, we piled in a van, drove all the way out to West Texas, filmed a video, got rained on, got all of our stuff almost ruined, piled back into the van, and drove home to make a music video. So it's just moments like that where we're just like not afraid to go out and just do it. To me, that's special, and I'll always remember that. So lots of those little moments throughout the years, but this past year, making that video was one of them for me.
Absolutely. I feel like that's a theme with us for sure. Like that's way too hard, or how are we gonna, and everyone's just like, I don't know, everyone get in the van, we'll figure it out. Like that seems to be just what we do. Like, yeah.
I really like the weird shit that happens when we get together and go places. I think we're all we're not old. I don't want to say we're old by any means, but we're older. And so going and playing, these places we played when we were like in our 20s and seeing just dumb shit that happened that I'm sure we all did when we were 22. And just kind of sitting back and like watching it unfold. There's a story about Josh that maybe we can get to someday, but there's this dude named Josh outside of a club, and it was just a fun thing to watch him. The events unfold of him trying to get to his car and leave because he was
talking about Jason.
Oh, it's Jason. Yes.
Yeah. Everybody knows you're drunk, Jason.
Yeah, everybody knows you're drunk, Jason. Just get to the car. Yeah, it's just, I love those dumb little things that we can watch. And it's like, you know what? I was there and I feel for that dude at some point in time in my life. And it's just fun watching it older people make the same mistakes we made. And it's fun. I like those times. Yeah, shit shoes. There's a ton of stories and they're just fun. So.
Chris enjoys watching other people being miserable and puking their guts
Yeah.
out, apparently,
Yeah.
while their
Yeah.
friends yell at them to get in the car. After shows.
And recording it. You got to make sure we record it. So.
Wonderful. Wonderful. And would you be doing a lot of experimentation towards the music in the coming days in the future?
I lost you for a second. Keith, say that again.
Would you be doing a lot of experimentation in your music in the coming days?
I don't know about experiment. I mean, we kind of always try to find really specific sounds, and a lot of times those sounds that go into songs evolve from conversations about what the feeling of the song is, or what the emotion of the song is. And you know, I think that happens pretty frequently. Like, do we need to go outside and beat the shit out of a dumpster with a 2x4 to get the right sound or emotion for this song? Or do we need to, you know, make an instrument that doesn't exist? Because, and those are things we've done. And I think kind of just part of what we do when we're creating.
Yeah, yeah, I think we may not be like, you know, polyphia prog or experimentation or anything like that, but we definitely like Drew and I will, when we sit down to record guitar tracks, it's like, how many octaves is too many octaves, or how many fuzz pedals is too much, you know, or something like that. So we're always experimenting in our own little ways. And it just, like, to echo what Sandy said, it just you try to find the soul of the song, and when you find it, you kind of follow it. You know, it's not I don't know, it's weird when they send us a rough track. It's less of me trying to lead it in a direction and it directing me where I need to go. And I think that's kind of how we write songs. It's like, where's this song taking us? Less of like, where do we need to take the song? I may be speaking out of turn, but that's what it feels like for me. And so, yeah, we experiment in our own little ways, but I don't know if we'll ever go like crazy ass, like polyphia experimentation prog. Maybe we will. I have no clue. Maybe we will, but I don't want to say never say never, but you know.
Yeah, we had a reviewer a little while back refer to some of our music as experimental or something like that, and I thought that was so weird because, like, I don't feel like we're being experimental, you know, but like I think Sandy and Chris were saying, it's just kind of in our DNA, to like, well, what does this do, or what would happen if we did this, or what needs to happen here, or, you know. And I think that we're all, you know, I'll speak for myself, at least, like, you know, I've been around music most of my life and tried to make it, and so like I just find a lot of music boring a lot of times, or a lot of, you know, like stuff that's, you know, really popular or just kind of like done too many times, you know. So I'm always trying to find something that's interesting to me, you know, or makes my ears perk up, or like, whoa, that was cool, what happened there, you know, or come up with something unexpected. But you also don't want to take it too far, because if all your music is just unexpected moments, then it's kind of difficult to listen to, I think. But yeah.
We are also probably one of the rare bands that thinks to themselves, like, what does a tape burned sound like played backwards? Like, you know, I don't know how the hell, I don't know where that question came from, but in one of the tracks, there's a tape that Drew and Sandy burned, and then played backwards. And it, yeah.
We like pulled all of the tape out of the cassette, crumpled the shit out of it, wound it back in, recorded on it, and then I think we pulled it out again. We buried it. Like literally dug in one of the garden plots and like buried it in there for a couple of days. And then what song is that in? Lost at Sea?
No, it's in Chasing Vapor.
Chasing Vapor, yeah.
And so that's our experimentation. We burn shit and we just think like, what happens if we do this? So
amazing. And what would be the big dreams for you guys?
I think, like, if we're talking big, I would just love to play at Wembley Stadium. That's just like a thing. If Dave Grohl's done it, I'd love to do it. So
He fell off a stage and broke his leg.
Maybe we'll skip that season of Dave Grohl. I don't want to break my leg, but playing at Wembley Stadium, I think would be pretty cool. I mean, you know, you got Queen just freaking made that it's just famous. It's just insanely famous. And so that's, you know, that is the big dream, at least for me. I think that'd be super fucking cool.
I'd like just to enjoy touring with the big bands that I grew up listening to. That's always my like dream idea.
I don't know. Mine would be to be able to make a living just doing Cedars and just traveling and just playing music.
Oh, that's coming, friend. That's gonna happen.
Yeah, that's not a dream. That's just eventual reality.
Yeah. I think if I thought about it like dream wise, like what I think that for me, a dream for this band would be that there'd be a lot of reciprocity in what we're putting out in the world coming back to us, so that we can continue to create. And I think part of that for me looks like, how do we use what resources and platform, even if it's small, that we have access to amplify voices that aren't heard or aren't listened to. And how do we, there's a community component for me that's really important. So part of the dream for me is for that piece to grow. Like, how do we use what we're doing in the art we're making to promote freedom in people and self-love and authenticity, and like all of those things are really important to me.
Amazing. And finally, what would be the message that you want to give to your fans around the world?
This is super cheesy, but I think it's kind of been ringing pretty true in my ears lately, is leaving the world a better place than when you got here. I think like what everything Sandy just said, I think we make a conscious effort to be involved in communities that don't have a voice, because there are, there's a lot of just shit in this world, and there's a lot of people that aren't in a position that we are in, and I think it's awesome that we can take that position we are in and use it to give other people a voice, because there's, we've been given an opportunity that few get, of even having people listen to our music. And if people listen to our music, at least we can give them a good message through that music. And then maybe in something like this, they see this and they're like, oh yeah, I want to go volunteer at a, suicide prevention or LGBTQ type, organizations or something like that. And if we can, I don't like the word influence. It's more like, it feels like manipulation to me, but like if we can help people get involved. Yeah, like a catalyst to help people get involved with, like I said, leaving this world better than when they got here. I think that's awesome. I think that would be amazing.
To piggyback off that, I think for me, my personal message to everybody would be just, it's okay to be your authentic self. It's okay to pursue those things that would otherwise be called taboo or, not traditional. Whatever it is, everybody's got their own thing. So,
anything,
just be authentic. It's okay, whatever you want.
Don't murder people, but
right.
Rule
number one.
I think that one of the things that prevents us from living fully and connecting fully as humans is the fear of letting our real selves be seen. And I think if we all showed up as who we actually are, for me personally, and I'm not speaking for the band, but for me, I feel like that's when you can see the divine, whatever that word means or doesn't mean to you, but that's when I feel like that's present, like when we're actually living into who we were made to be. And that inspires other people to do the same thing. Mm-hmm. It gives them permission, if you're showing up in your fully weird, fucked up self, like you don't have to be perfect or have arrived somewhere to contribute and to put your art and your voice out in the world. So do that.
Yeah, I was gonna hop onto what Sandy was saying. Well, I guess everybody. I think that we all, you know, none of us in this band, I think, were really popular growing up, or you know, like part of the in crowd. Is I think there's like just part of our identity as people and as a group is kind of like with the people who are ostracized or outcast from the popular parts of society. You know, so I think that. Yeah, like everybody was saying, it's okay to be who you are and to not have to feel like you have to cut off or hide parts of yourself so that you can fit in with the, you know, the popular crowd or, you know, so yeah.
Amazing, wonderful, wonderful. And guys, I want to thank you all so much for giving me this opportunity to interview all together today. It's a real pleasure to meet you here today. And thank you so much for the amazing music that you guys have been giving over the years. It's a real pleasure listening to you guys. I wish you guys all the luck and looking forward to the next album soon.
Yeah,
Thanks,
thank you
Keith.
so much,
Appreciate it.
Keith. Thank you
Yes,
so
thank you,
much.
Keith.
Thank you.
Take care of yourself. Bye-bye.
Bye,
Bye.
everyone. Bye, Keith.
Bye.